I'm here in Medjugorje and I'm with, what's your name?
Debbie.
Getting the microphone closer? Yeah,
Debbie.
And where are you from, Debbie?
Camarillo, California.
Wow, I lived in La Jolla.
What?
La Jolla, Santa Monica?
No, near Ventura County.
Wow.
An hour south.
Yeah.
An hour south of Santa Barbara.
Mm-hmm.
About an hour north of Los Angeles.
Yeah.
That's how I explain it.
Ventura Highway, no?
Yeah, yeah.
I know the one.
Oh, good.
I lived in the hills next to the highway.
Oh.
Going through the hills, no? Ventura. And first time here for you?
Yes, first time for both of us.
Wow.
My daughter Maria.
Maria?
Mm-hmm.
How are you doing?
Good.
You're good? First time here for you as well?
Yes.
It's a bit new also to be filmed.
Mm-hmm.
And what did you think? Did your mom grab you and say, daughter, you have to come to Medjugorje?
No, it was more that my dad didn't want to go, and he didn't want to going by herself, and I said, fine, I'll go. I'd never heard of Medjugorje at all. So only when she started bringing it up, it's like, we're going to Medjugorje, that I started looking like, okay, what am I getting myself into? So that was pretty much it. And then as we were getting ready and prepping to come here, she's like, oh, there's been apparitions, Our Lady's still appearing, these are the visionaries, and like the story started unfolding. But
what did you think when you heard all these stories?
I grew up Catholic, so I knew about Fatima, Lourdes, Our Lady of Guadalupe. I didn't know she was still appearing. Like here, that I didn't know. I didn't know about this at all. So this was like within last year I found out about this place for the first time.
And you doubted, or you said, yeah, can be?
No, if you're Catholic, it's hard to doubt, you know. And with everything, with Father Leov put it greatly. He goes, if this is a fake, it wouldn't. This is probably the best fake ever. It makes you go to mass every day. You say the rosary. You go to confession. You fast. There's like, if this is a fake, this is the best fake you want to have.
Yeah.
It only pushes you closer to God, which real fakes push you away. So.
Exactly. Like you said, amazing. And how has been the journey so far for you?
Good. It's been all over the place from up to down, just for me. I came in with, I'm going to be open-minded, open heart, but I'm not expecting anything. And I feel like I left with a better understanding of my faith, a better desire. And with my life and how busy I am, it was good to finally take a step back and just immerse myself in my faith and just go, this is going to be my number one priority for the week. I'm not going to think about anything else. I'm not going to worry about anything else. And just doing that, I felt like this was good. It was a spiritual, like, okay, here's spiritual food to get you through this next year, which is already going to be crazy in itself.
Yeah, and that's amazing because I know California, the environment where you live, this is not Catholic environment.
No, not at all.
And to see you, that I think we have to worry about nothing because everywhere Our Lady put lights in the darkness and nothing will happen. You know, not even to California. I think all this doom and gloom. Everybody talks about doom and gloom. Our Lady here never talks about doom and gloom.
No, but you know what? Someone said this to me this week, and I do believe this, that God puts souls in our lives, and even us ourselves are called to be that little beacon of light that pray for our families. It's not entirely doom and gloom, whether we are the light or someone else in our families praying for us and they are the light of the pillar. There's always little, like you said, little beacons of light that we don't necessarily see, and it's hard, especially when you're right up close to everything dark and you're like, oh my gosh, we're all going to hell.
Especially California.
Especially California. No, I remember a few years ago someone said, oh, California's going to fall into the ocean. That's the only way
That's what they always said.
The only way to eradicate all the problems. But yeah, I do believe, like what they were saying is like there's a pillar of light in each family of someone whose God has picked specifically to pray for them and to keep the light going, I guess.
Same with me, my family, you know, I'm here. I have the feeling that's exactly how it is, you know. And for you, Mamina, California, Mom.
Yes.
How is it to be here now for you?
Great.
Why did you come? Why did you want to come?
So over 30 years ago, where are we? We're at 2024.
Yeah.
Well over 30 years ago, back in 89, 90. I found about Medjugorje.
How did you find about it?
A prayer group. And I've always wanted to come, never thought I would. And so it's always been in the back of my mind. And now that my children are older, I have 4. So,
beautiful.
Yeah. So now that they are older, it's okay. You know, and it was a blessing.
Why? What happened?
It's good to be where Our Lady is at. And it's good to be in a good environment. And this has been more of a spiritual retreat for me. I appreciate this a lot.
Wow, I see it in your eyes. No, you have been touched here, huh?
A little bit.
A little bit, like all of us, no?
Yep.
Even a Protestant friend was here, the girlfriend of my brother, and she left the place. I asked her how was it. She said, "Man, I have more, how to say,
Desire?
ganas de vivir in
Desire?
Espanol, the desire to live
The faith.
My brother died. Her son died last year, and she came here and she said, "Man, she met so many people who encouraged her, same destiny." And that's Our Lady brings people together where you talk, you find like consolation.
Well, one desire I have
Tell, I want to hear.
is that I go back and bring a fire with me.
Yeah. She lights something. She said, something changed in me. She's a friend of mine, Protestant. Something changed in me. I'm more positive now.
Yep.
The fire, you describe it as the fire of the Holy Spirit.
A love for God.
Well,
that
and I think
Yeah.
hope. I think it's a hope, because in the United States, you don't get a lot of hope. Even in my parish, I go to church every day, and it's there. But coming here and you're surrounded by people that all believe in praying the Rosary, all believe in confession, all believe in adoration.
Yes.
There's hope. There's something that goes. We're all working towards something, and sometimes you feel like you're the only person in the ocean that's like, I'm the only one holding. Especially in California, holding up everything. So coming here and just feeling that sense of community, united in God and faith, I feel like that is kind
desire.
of and the desire for it to be that way.
But we have to say, California met a lot of people, priests in California. It's not true. We are doing exaggerating a bit now, right?
No.
But and I mean, I have lived there for nearly 2 years, and I saw the schools and the values. I said, man, I don't want to raise children here. How do you live in that environment? How can you share your faith there?
Well, okay, I come from a really good parish, and the good thing is I work at a high school.
Yeah.
I work with a high school that's right across from a Catholic church, so a lot of the kids there, they are Catholic, not practicing parents baptized them, they didn't. But because of that, I'm very open with my faith and talking to them and talking about confession and the Rosary and stuff, just to kind of open that conversation. So, and one of the great things is I heard about Medjugorje first from her, and she wanted to go, and then Father Don Calloway led a pilgrimage, and that's the pilgrimage we came on, and he gave a talk right across the street from the high school about his testimony and everything, and it was just like, okay, this is going to be exciting, this is going to be fun, and he's already a character. So I was really looking forward to it.
And for you to be here now, what is the favorite spot? What you like most about Medjugorje?
You know, we're going back up Apparition Hill. Aside from adoration, which we're going to do right after we eat, we're going to adoration and then Apparition Hill, and that's it. Yeah, those two places are good.
Did you listen to the violin, Melinda, and in the evening, the adoration, did you go?
No.
Oh,
but
not yet?
Well, they have the 2 o'clock to 5 o'clock every day.
That's the personal one in the chapel?
That's
Very
where
nice.
we're going. Yeah.
In the evening after Mass, you haven't heard the adoration? Or public adoration behind the church?
Yes, but we were late.
Yeah, but how was it to be there?
Yes, it was special.
Under the trees? Was it inside the church, outside?
Outside. We were outside, and I love seeing the number of people.
It's amazing, no? We have like 7,000 people or like thousands of people sitting there in silence.
It's special.
Special, no? And you always have been Catholic?
Yes, born and raised.
Born and raised. Never went astray? You said California, Mexico,
No.
I need to go somewhere else?
We-
Discover some other stuff?
We live in a good parish, and our priests are very solid, which I'm very happy about.
Yeah.
No, I've never left. My mother was very strong in her faith. Prayed many rosaries, went to daily mass, always said, ever since I was little, God loves you so much. I remember being 2 years old and her saying it over and over and over again to me.
And this is so important. You know, I only got this real in my life like 2 or 3 weeks ago, where I really grasped my identity. You know? And I said, I'm loved, I'm worthy to be loved. And she did a tremendous job by not only saying, but showing it. I can see it in you. She showed it to you, no? But not by example also, no?
Yeah, she's
Unbelievable.
good.
Then she prayed rosaries. She's in heaven already? Where is she's
Yeah,
passed away?
she has, yes, in 2011.
But she did a good job. I can see it in you and your daughter. I mean, this is
Yes.
amazing to see in California. She came to California as well, or lived in Mexico?
She was born and raised in Mexico.
Did
And
she
then-
come over and live with you guys in California then? Or?
Yes, she was born and raised in Mexico. Met my father in California. My father was from Maine. He was military, and they got married. And he converted.
1, 2.
Yeah,
No,
he
not one
converted.
here.
He converted.
Amazing. You pray the rosary?
With that.
Why?
Yep.
Why you're so young?
Why do I pray the
Yeah.
rosary? Well, just like most kids, it's like you fall on, you fall off. It's like, why am I praying this? It's taking forever. How much longer?
It's
But what,
honest, yeah.
but what I've realized, I want to say within the last 5 or 6 years, that God has answered my rosaries. I did a 54-day novena to Our Lady about a job and trying to figure out what she wanted me to do, what God wanted me to do. And it was answered. And even here in confession, one of the priests said something that he didn't know. And he goes, I am a vessel that God uses to relay this message to you. And I was sitting there going, Father, you don't know this, but you just answered that question that I've been having in regards to this job. So, no, I've seen rosaries. If you pray, like Father would say, Father Leo would say, or my priest back at home, if you pray from the heart and you put everything and you surrender everything, which is very hard.
Very important. Everything.
Surrendering everything, especially in the States or in California, it's hard because we're told you have to manage everything, you have to handle everything.
Go to the beach.
You go to the beach.
Get a surgery.
Yeah.
It's 15 already. No?
Well, all those different things.
Yeah.
That when I did that, I felt the most at peace, and I felt like I was doing what needed to be done to do my part. And I wasn't taking a step back and not handling something. It was more like going, you know what, God, I can't. I give it completely to you. You handle it, and then let me know when I need to come in.
This is so amazing listening to her. You are so in peace, so in God, I do a lot of interviews. You experienced him, no? The power of him. Can you describe how you experienced him in your heart? God
Like
the
through
Father?
this week?
No,
Or-
you experienced him before already, not only this
Yeah,
week.
I feel like for me personally, I've had many ups and downs in my life with my health, with just how the world was with me. I was raised Catholic. I never had a lowering point. Yeah, there were moments where why? Why am I suffering like this? Why am I going through this? But I never stopped going to church. I always went to church. And I feel like for my age group, you're always going to have ups and downs. But it's important to recognize that God's there even at the lowest point, and then he does answer, and that it may not be in the time that you wanted, as she always tells me. It may be 20 or 30 years down the road, or in my case, I had it wait 10 or 15. But he does. And when he does it as a loving father. And I feel that, for me, realizing it the last 5 or 6 years has been important. So when I go and I talk about the faith with my students, my athletes that I work with, it's important to me. I want them to understand that they're so special, and everything that's going on in their life, as chaotic as it is, he's still there, and he looks at us and goes, okay, what is this Instagram thing that you really have to care about so much? But
Facebook, what's that, by the way? Can you explain me a bit about that one?
But God is there through everything, which I see it through them as well. When they tell me their stories, and I go, oh my gosh. Yeah, I had an athlete confide in me that she was going to attempt suicide, and she, yelled out to God, please, I need peace, I need something. And she was 14 years old. And in that moment, she said, I felt him. He came. It was the most comforting peace I'd ever felt. And I knew in that moment I wasn't going to do it. And she didn't. She practices the faith. She's a confirmation leader now. And she constantly is professing, God's there, all these great things. And I'm going, if someone so young can do this and be at the bottom, of your rock bottom, of a 14-year-old rock bottom, and turn her life around and have that, I've never had that moment where it's God completely hugging me in peace, but that's what she needed. And if I've been reached in my own way, maybe not in that spiritual hugging as she described it to me, but
it is there. You just
but
go
it
up
is
to
there.
the throne and get a hug from it.
Yeah.
In a meditation, you can
Yeah.
open your mind, go up. No, but keep on going. Sorry, because
No.
people don't interrupt.
No,
I'm so
no.
excited to listen to you.
No,
Yeah.
but yeah, just like you were saying, it's he reaches out to everybody at their level, and that was one thing that I don't know who said it this week, but they said how, some people come to Medjugorje and they expect to see Our Lady, or they expect something magnificent to happen, and it's not so much the big magnificent, it's the small stuff. Like when you go back, you say that extra rosary. That in itself is a miracle. I don't care what even if I never see Our Lady or never get to have some of the experiences, like we went to the Divine Mercy Church and and it was beautiful and gorgeous, and they were saying how our Lord had come down and healed someone from that picture, and I was like, if I never get to experience any of that, if I go back home and I feel like I want to have a stronger desire to go to adoration, daily mass, and extra rosary, that is a miracle, because through that other people are going to change. Other people are going to see it through me. And who was it? Which father said, if your neighbor doesn't know you're Catholic, you're probably not.
Father Leon.
Yeah.
Somebody told me yesterday.
Yeah.
So it's true.
Yeah, it's definitely true. And like my dad would say, when you enter our house, we have more holy things than the church itself.
I love it.
So
bring in the California girls.
Yeah, pretty much.
much.
So we're getting there. We're getting there. There's still hope. I think
absolutely. When I see you, and I love California. We were talking a bit negative, but I love California. It's a beautiful place. No, it's so beautiful. And for you, the rosary?
Daily rosary.
Daily, you pray daily? Why?
Oh, yeah.
Why daily?
She's always been there for me. And when I've had the most difficult times, I do the novena of the rosary, she's answered. Every time. Every time.
Can you describe one answer, maybe?
I can't think of one.
When Dad got his job?
Right. When my husband, at one point, I didn't have the other two children, I just had my first two. We knelt down and we prayed a novena of the rosary, and he, got a job within a year that provided for us until he retired.
So
yeah.
beautiful.
But beautiful. I mean, no job is perfect, but it was what we needed. It was the best he could do for the position he was in, and
it allowed for her to homeschool us, which I honestly am blessed for that, because I think that's what helped for me and my siblings keep our Catholicism. Was because of that job, we had enough that she could stay home, be a stay-at-home mom, and catechize us. And that was important to my dad, and that was something they talked about when they were getting married, is they wanted to homeschool us. But homeschooling, and just like anything, is expensive. So God answered that prayer, or Our Lady answered that prayer, both did, and not just simply giving him a job, but giving him more, giving us more than what we asked for a longer term. Always had what we need. Again, when they tell me this story, I remember thinking, well, they did not only answer that, but they gave us more than what we needed for the long term of things that we would never have seen coming. Like, my siblings weren't even in the process. Who knew we were going to be 4? But yeah.
And look what a good job you did. Stable young woman. I mean, that's the best job you can
remember who did the good job. I'm only doing my best. God is actually working the miracles here. We got to remember that, because I can't take all the credit. I know who makes the difference.
But you had said, yes, I'm doing it.
Yeah, that is true. That is true.
We all have to say yes to it, Unbelievable. And confession, you go regularly to confession?
Oh
why?
Yeah.
What would you tell people why you go? What's so beautiful
Peace.
about peace?
Peace and a closeness to God. I like that. To me, it's an opportunity. We don't see it that way, but I see it that way. It's an opportunity.
Yeah, and a lot of people are scared. They think God the Father, angry old man, white beard, judges us and waits to send us to heaven. It's not like that.
But there are a lot of priests you can go to. Yeah. I have some that I go to because, I feel comfortable with them. They tell it to me straight. I want that. But they still are good listeners, and they still give the guidance that I need to hear. As hard as it may be, the message may be hard to hear, but it's still, it's still good,
And for you, confession?
Why do I go?
Yeah.
I try to go at least once a month, but I think for me, especially the last 5 or 6 years, it's like she was saying, there's peace. For me, it's that humbling of myself, realizing I'm not perfect, in that, I I need this because I need to, one, sometimes be knocked down to size and go, you know what? I'm not perfect. I was not nice to this one person. I could have done this here. I should have done that there. But like my mom was saying, there are certain priests that they know how to break it very gently to you. But then, like, sometimes, like, the penance for me that I've gotten, it makes me think deeper and go, okay, wait a minute. There is something. There is another thing there, or God did answer this prayer, or it's that forgiveness piece, that peace forgiveness, especially afterwards when I've felt so bad and I'm going, I am the worst person walking to that box.
We all know that, yeah.
It's like walking to your execution. And you're like, just take me out. It's not worth it. It's really not worth it. But then going and feeling that, I describe it like that lightness of air. I've had certain people say, oh, you mean like cloud nine? I'm like, no, it doesn't feel like that cloud nine like when you're in a relationship. It's that literal feeling of lightness, that heaviness that you walk in so heavy-hearted, and then having God forgive you for it, and you feel that forgiveness, that lightness, and you're like, I can do this. I can go back out and I can redo this, and I'm going to try again and all over again. And for me, it's like, then I've had someone say, oh, well, then you should be fine for the year. Like, what's the problem? And I'm like, because I'm not perfect. We're human. We love saying that comment, well, I'm only human. Well, if you're only human, then you better go to church because we got a problem. Humans are not perfect, and we all say it. Everyone says it, Catholic, non-Catholic. Then if that's the case, then we need it more than anybody, more than anything here on earth. We need to go to confession on a regular.
And that's what we have, the fullness of the faith. We have all the instruments.
Yes, we do.
To start again, confession, this adoration, the Eucharist. And for you, the personal relationship, how is that? A lot of people want that personal relationship with Christ, with God. How would you describe it? How can they have that relationship?
Okay, so my saint is Saint Teresa of Avila. Wow. I loved how her relationship was with God. She could definitely, say why. Good. And I've done that with God, and I'll sit there and I've gotten better at it, where I'll be going, okay, God, do you really want me to do this right now? Do you really want me to handle this right now? Or he'll put someone back in my life, and I go, I thought we were done with this person 2 years ago. And he goes, no, they're back to make you more holy. So I've learned to have more of a sense of humor with God and more of a listen. I think that's the thing, is sometimes we think of him so distant and so far away because he's so perfect and we're so not. And what I've learned is if I go to him and I approach it for who I am, as a person, I love to be happy. I love to have those moments. But then at the same time, I'd like to go, you know what? I have a problem. I don't know what to do. And I know you're the only one that can solve it. And I can have those serious discussions with him too. Or like we'll be going Apparition Hill and my mom will say, we're going to trailblaze down the mountain. And I'm like, God? Like, no, what happened to let's go down it the right way? Like, and I'm sitting there going, seriously, you had to put the rosary on that one trail that she's like, that's the path we're gonna go.
Oh no.
Oh no. But I think that's the important thing with a relationship with God. Don't just talk to him in prayer, but wake up in the morning and say, hey, good morning. I noticed that the sun's out. Thank you so much for the sun. Or if in California we always need rain. Thank you for the rain. We've been praying for that rain, and now we have so much of it, we don't know what to do with it. So clearly all those prayers were answered a year or two later after all those praying. But yeah, I think talk to God as if he is your friend, that person that you go and see, the person you call up every day, but not just for prayer. Prayer is super important. I 110% behind prayer. But make him your father, the one you say hi to in the morning, good night to, I love you. Thank you. All those things.
So beautiful. And for you, personal relationship.
She took the words out of my mouth.
Yeah, I thought like,
what more is there to say, right?
Yeah, but for you, it's same. You do that in the morning.
Yes.
And you wake up, I think.
I pour my heart out to him a lot, good and bad, you name it. It's like a close friend, like a father, all the above. Yeah, that I do. What she said is actually
beautiful.
What we do.
That's why I said beautiful job you did. Look.
I can't take the credit though. So
no, sure, but you did your part. You said yes, and you feel when you talk to him, he answers.
Yes.
In which way?
You know, sometimes when I just start crying when I'm praying, I know that I'm being heard. And it's not because I'm crying and praying. It's more that I just feel an overwhelming love at that particular moment that makes me want to cry. But it's a little too emotional here.
No, it's beautiful. Same happened to me here, especially in Medjugorje. It happens now. And what would you tell people? Why is the Catholic faith so beautiful for you? Why are you so immersed?
Because it's the real, true church, founded by Jesus Christ, and can't get any better than that.
You can't get any better than that. It's
Sorry.
an adventure, no?
And I know that sounds biased,
Yeah.
but I am.
Yeah.
And I firmly believe it. And because I believe it, that's what we do here. You know, we live this way.
And you experience, you have to live. It's a lifestyle, no?
Yes,
There is no non-practicing Catholic.
No.
That's a non-Catholic.
exactly. That's how I feel too.
And the Eucharist for you?
Oh my gosh. That's our Lord. That nothing more needs to be said. He feeds us. So.
And
yeah.
that's Him. It's really
Oh,
Him.
my goodness.
Totally scriptural in the Bible.
Yes, John chapter 6.
It's for our Protestant friends. Why did all these thousands of people run away? Only 12 stayed when He said it.
I know.
They said
That was sad.
That was sad.
You
but
have the words of everlasting life. Where will we go?
Where will we go? And if He would have said it's a symbol, they would have said, okay, it's
No.
a symbol. But He said
It-
it's real. That's
he
why they
always
ran away.
he always explained himself. I've noticed that, and I've heard that in when priests have talked. If there was a misunderstanding, he explained it. If they got it wrong, what the misunderstanding was and what it should be, basically.
Yeah.
But he didn't mince his words. He said it, and he didn't pull back, and he didn't try to explain it or minimize it in any way. And that's how he was.
Honest, direct, straightforward, how we should be.
Yeah.
And for you, Catholic faith, young woman, why the beauty of the Catholic faith? For you?
Why did I pick it, or just why in
why-
general
why-
do I practice it?
Yeah, and can you make a little promotion for our Catholic faith?
I guess the biggest promotion is with the other faiths. As good as they are still there's a
fullness of truth.
Yeah, they don't. I have a friend that's Protestant, and this is one person that God clearly slapped me across the face and said, "See, don't judge." That she called me a month after she got married and said, "My husband walked up to me and just said he wants to convert to Catholicism." He is the son of a pastor and grew up Protestant, and he said that he was searching for the truth. And that was one thing, is he was constantly searching for the truth, and through his own religion, and he just couldn't find something, and he stumbled across the Rosary, and he prayed the Rosary, and Our Lady, he says, "I saw Our Lady, I saw somebody." And I don't know if it was he dreamed about her or he was saying in the middle of the Rosary, and he saw her, he goes, "I saw somebody." And then I found out later it was Our Lady. And in the Protestant faith, they don't believe in Our Lady. So he goes, I started researching this, and through Our Lady and through the Rosary, he's now decided he's going to become a Catholic. And my friend is going, "What happened?" Completely turned around. But I think, and this is what I will say for the other faiths, if you are in another faith and you are constantly looking for the truth, you will end up in Catholicism one way or another. But if you are somebody who closes yourself off and are staying in something, you're going to feel like something's missing. And if you feel like something's missing, then what are you waiting for? Why aren't you looking for it? And at some point, I'll see you in church, or I'll see you in heaven, or I'll see you somewhere. Because Catholicism is the end. At least here on earth. When you get to heaven, then you can argue it out. But until now, Catholicism is it.
Same my way. I constantly search. I was in the Protestant church. I was studying as a Jewish rabbi. Always something missing. Like you said, something missing, and you look for more and more. And God puts you the people in the way. For the guy, the Rosary. For me, it was a Catholic nun from India.
Well, and that's the other thing. If you search, God will help you. God will put people in your life to lead you the way. If you open yourself up to searching for the truth, then God's more than happy to go, let's put this nun here, let's put this priest, let's put this friend that's Catholic, let's do all these different things.
The Rosary for the guy.
The Rosary for the guy, my friend who, I'm her only Catholic friend, so she calls me all the time for Catholicism stuff, and I'm sitting there going, okay, I don't know everything, let me go look at this back up. So she's pushing me to better myself, but just looking at how that whole thing came about is a miracle in of itself. So, and God takes all the credit. I just sit there and go, okay.
But you respond, you take your time, you try to explain, learn with her. That's we are all on the way together to learn, no?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And your husband always Catholic as well?
Yes, born and raised Catholic.
What would you tell? I mean, a lot of marriages break apart. What is the secret to how to stick together, to stay together, to get through the rubbles?
Pray together.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, to me, marriage is a fight in this world, a fight to keep it special, because it is already special, but to keep it special, and to find value in each other on the good and bad, because that's what we need to open our eyes to more. So many times people focus on the negative, and there are negative times, but the challenge is to see the good. Especially now, it's always to see the good, because it's there. It is there. Appreciate who you're with. Everybody has value.
Wow, that's the truth. And that comes from your mother, who said, you are loved by God.
All the time.
All the time.
I told her, you are the reason I'm Catholic. I did tell her that.
And she lived, she lived it out.
She died 2011, but she lived her faith.
And your father?
He became Catholic.
He became. What was he? Nothing, or Protestant?
Basically not baptized anything until
Mommy came along.
Well,
the nice lady.
she was a force. She was a force.
She was a force. May she rest in peace, and thank you for this. You know what she did to you. I mean, look at your daughter. Look at yourself. This is so amazing. Now you're in Medjugorje.
Yeah.
And what would you tell people? Why come to Medjugorje one time?
I can't speak for everybody. I actually don't have an answer, but I find it beautiful. You know, I want to be where she's been. I want to find that spark to keep going. You know, but I honestly can't come up with the words. But I think it's special. I think it's special here. And no matter what, she's always going to lead you to her son. That is her goal. It's not for herself, it's for us to be closer to him. People get locked into the fact that they think it's all about her. No, she loves us so much. She wants us to be closer to him. That is her goal.
Look at your friend, who prayed the Rosary and now. And for you, what would you tell young people? Why come to Medjugorje?
I think come to Medjugorje for your soul, but come with an open, like my mom said, come with an open heart and open mind, and remember it's not so much the place. Our Lady is everywhere, and you can go on any religious pilgrimage, any of them, but the most important thing, and I think this is the one thing Our Lady wanted when she wanted people to come here and experience the peace, is to take the peace back. To take it and bring it into your families, your communities, your area, and bring that piece of Medjugorje with you, or that Fatima or Lourdes or Our Lady of Guadalupe. To come here would be a waste if you don't take it back with you. You can come here and go through the motions of everything, the masses and the adoration, and come literally just to see it. But if you don't come with that open heart and go, how am I going to be better? How am I going to take this home with me? Then my recommendation is don't come. Try to find it where you're at. But if you come with that, then this place is going to give you so many graces, so many tools, so many inspiration, a little bit like a little light on fire to go back and kick some butt at wherever you're at in the world.
What is Mass for you? Holy Mass, the Eucharist.
Okay, so Holy Mass for me, I guess it's like a celebration. I know some people go, well, it's him dying on the cross and offering the recreation of that Calvary.
But also of resurrection, they forget that.
Yeah, the rest. I think for me, it's the celebration. It's our opportunity to be saved. It's God doing it all over again for us, saying, and this is the thing, Mass is, I love you. Those are the words that are being done through the whole Mass, is I love you, I'm here for you, and this is for you. This is for you to push yourself through the next day. And that's why I think there's an importance to daily Mass, because
Not just that, but to offer our prayers to God the Father. You know, that is really the sacrifice. But yes, but also to help us get through.
The day, you know, it's the best heavenly manna in the desert.
Oh, yeah.
We have it now, as the Jewish people had in the desert.
it's the strongest form of prayer. It's the highest form of prayer.
Yeah, I heard that. I love that. It's the highest. The Holy it's the highest form
Of prayer. And our Lord's there, and literally there. So it's like when people say, "Well, what if he's not listening?" Like, go to church then. If you feel like he's not listening, go to adoration, go to church. He is there. He can't escape. He is there.
By adoration. What is the
because he's
beautiful
there.
adoration?
Because sometimes for me, it's like, I want to know you're there, and you can't go away.
You're stuck with me.
You're stuck with me. So if you want me to go away, then you're gonna have to answer what I'm begging you to help me with. I guess there's peace, because with adoration there's silence, and you are with God. And if, like, you take those times to meditate in absolute silence and just listen. How often do we do that in this world? Take a second and go, okay, let me just listen. I think we get scared of how loud the silence is sometimes. But in adoration, yeah, I think the biggest thing is God can't go away. And he's right there. And I feel the most at peace when I take that second and go, you know what, God, I'm here. I'm going to listen. And then I fall asleep, unfortunately, now and then, like most of us.
That's maybe a healing sleep.
Yeah, there's something. But it's that feeling of pure peace, I think. That's the importance of adoration.
And for you, adoration?
Likewise.
Likewise.
Yeah, peace. Yeah.
You go often in California?
At minimum once a week. Yeah.
Once a week. You have like perpetual adoration there? Or how does it
From
work?
like 5 until 10 p.m., 5 a.m. to 10 p.m. we
Every
have.
day? Or-
Monday through Friday
Monday
at our parish.
And look how the parish is thriving, literally. Huh?
It's a good parish.
Somebody said, was it New York somewhere? The same thing, they have 24 hours, they have vocations, everything happening in that parish in America. 24 hours adoration.
Makes a difference.
Makes a difference.
Yep.
Normally. And Bible scripture, favorite one for you? For Protestant friends, we know the Bible.
I don't know the Bible, but I like this one thing. I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me.
Amen.
That's the one that, I want to say it was Philippians, but I can't remember.
Yeah. And for you, your Bible,
Corinthians 13.
which is
Just, I guess, how
love.
the love and how he describes it.
love.
Because as much as our world tries to describe love, and for any religious person, all our Bible people out there, they go, well, this is the definition of love. I'm like, no, go and read Jesus' definition. It has nothing. It does. Our thing doesn't come in anywhere comparison to it. It's absolutely amazing.
so beautiful. Favorite saint you got?
Oh, my saint, Saint Teresa of Avila,
Yeah.
for sure.
For sure. Why in a phrase?
She was a Spitfire. She was a Spitfire.
Yeah,
What does it mean, Spitfire? For the German who doesn't understand.
A force to be reckoned with.
Yeah.
She, in her small stature, it was like, if God told her go that way, it was like, look out, world. If you don't get out of the way, she's going to run you over. And that's who I aspire to be when I bother her with my prayers all the time.
And for you?
I have so many.
One of them?
You know, right now I'm learning more and more about St. John Bosco.
Why? Why?
There's on YouTube the Miracles and Prophecies of St. John Bosco, and
Check it out.
little stories here and there about his life and what he's done and what he went through. I like the inspirations and the stories. So, and he was a very good priest in confession. Wanted to anywhere. Let's hire confession right now. You know, that type of thing. So he was always about saving souls. Always. I think that's special.
And because you said, through Christ I can do everything.
Through
Could
Christ.
you make the experience when you live, thy will be done, with that attention, thy will be done in my life, that you are more peaceful, more in joy? You know, like in Our Father, thy will be
Thy
done
will
on
be done
earth as in heaven.
is-
How is it for you to live in that intention, to surrender everything? That's
Well,
easier, life is easier?
First of all, I'm learning to surrender. I'm still a work in progress. You
Me
would
too.
think I should be done by now, right?
No.
No, but that is what I'm struggling with, and that's what I'm trying to do, because I know there's more peace there, and I know He's in control, completely. So, yeah, that's a work in progress on my part. I can't
Me
say
too.
that.
This morning again I surrendered that stuff. But you can't solve
Yeah.
yourself, man. What do I do? The devil wants to make you nervous, but
Yeah.
when you surrender, the Surrender Novena, by Don Dolindo.
Yes,
check it
ever.
out.
Yes.
I read it out this morning first.
Did you?
Yeah, I need it. I'm a work in progress. How for you is surrendering? Thy will be done.
I've done the Surrender Novena many times, as God knows. What is the question exactly?
Like, for you, it's easy to surrender, and you feel that peace when you live in that intention. Thy will be done in your life. His will in your life will be done. How do you feel about that? It gives you more peace? You feel that?
I do feel more peace. There are times where I've questioned God. I'm like, why? I'm giving you this. I'm trying. I'm one of those people like, just tell me which way it is. I will go. I will do it.
But say it now.
But say it now.
I know.
Or just give me I don't need the hand to come down and point in the direction. Just give me a very subtle where do you want me to go? And I find with me, it's more kind of not so much the surrender as much as going, okay, God, I know you are going to answer this. I know you have this all fixed. I just have to tell myself to be more patient. The surrendering, I've been very good with learning how to surrender and finding that peace. But then the next thing is, after I do that, not 3 or 4 days later going, okay, I surrendered. How much longer? Give me patience, give me humility, give me everything I need, because I'm very impatient with that. But no, when you truly surrender from the bottom of your heart and you pour everything out and you just give it completely to Him, you will feel the most at peace. And I can promise you that. I can promise you that from my own experience, you will feel a peace that it can't even be described. I think that's the one thing, and again, can't describe it. You just know everything's going to be taken care of in a way that, I don't know, you just can't describe it.
That's our battle, and every day to surrender. Because when we surrender, we get the answer, then a new challenge comes. So it starts all over again.
Yeah, and sometimes it feels like the challenges get bigger with each one, but what I've learned is if they're getting bigger, that means I must be getting stronger, because that means they have to get bigger to handle me. So with every challenge that comes my way, every one that I overcome and I turn to God, means I'm one step closer to being either a saint or hopefully going to heaven. So a quiet life, I can't remember who said this, but a quiet life, if you have nothing going wrong in your life, then you need to go check yourself, because chances are, if the devil's not bothering you, then you're standing right next to him. So
and holding his hand.
So yeah, you want those ups and downs, because that's when you learn to appreciate our Lord, or appreciate the people around you, and when those ups and downs moments. And that was something my dad would say, is you need to have those experiences. So one, you know where your limits are. You know who you need to turn to, and then you recognize in that moment the true grace and the true hand of God, or Our Lady, or the angels, or the saints that are praying for us in those moments. And you wouldn't realize them if everything was always fat, dumb, and happy.
Yeah.
You felt that you have a guardian angel? That's another gift from God to every one of us, to have a guardian angel. You felt him in your life?
I constantly pray
To him?
constantly. Going up the way of the cross. Constantly, right after the other. Angel of God, my guardian dear, over and over again. No.
It's another gift we got, no?
No,
we don't,
exactly.
We don't appreciate, or we don't even think of,
I know.
We have to think. Wow. Well, what can I say? Is there anything else at the end you would like to say to the people here?
Thank you, God, for your infinite goodness and mercy, and giving us Our Lady as our mother.
Amen. And you at the end?
For anyone watching, Catholic or non-Catholic, I would say a prayer. Just take that extra 10 seconds of your life right now, wherever you're at, and say a prayer. Thank God, whatever faith you are. Because one way or another, I'll see you as a Catholic someday.
Well, what can I say? Thank you for that beautiful interview.